In the wake of the recent unanimous political decision in America to stand up and drink bleach while shouting, "We need to get whiter," the rest of the world decided that satire is completely dead, and despite previously thinking that we were the most evolved species, we all started getting messages from various farm animals saying, "We never did any of this shit." But since we're now living in a time where more and more barriers are being built between people, I feel that while we're here, we should, if only for a bit, unite against a not very good TV show. Designated Survivor is a political drama about a cataclysmic event causing some bloke to be elected president. It can't be satire, that died. Also, this came out before the day white people finally won one against a system already rigged in their favour. Oops, sorry, all unifying, nothing aggressive. Designated Survivor was clearly made by people who have House of Cards magazines crumpled up in sticky messes under their beds, because it isn't so much inspired by it as it is pulling a pouty face and insisting the whole family call him Kevin Bacon. Unfortunately, it fails to replicate the quality of House of Cards in a lot of places. The tone of the show is all over the place. It kicks off with a light-hearted family conversation, and 2 minutes later it 9/11's the president. I don't think that particular verb is going to be quite so popular. After that, a post-crisis America is intercut with mawkish family scenes so cheesy even Marvel would go, "Alright, that's a bit much." I guess it could have been worse. The designated survivor could have been Kevin James, and upon stepping into the Oval Office he could have fallen over and farted. Kiefer Sutherland gives a fine, if a bit unbalanced performance, but there are moments in the pilot that feel farcical. Remember, this is less than an hour after the president gets killed, which, I believe with my limited legal knowledge, is frowned upon. It's a shame really, because some of the themes are really interesting in current times. The idea of radicalisation due to people you live near blaming you for shit you didn't do is a very interesting one, especially in recent times. But dealing with issues that heavy might not sell well to the general audience, especially in the US, where statistically a good portion of the audience started cheering the violence like chimps cheering their associate for figuring out he could remove the pin from a grenade. So big issues like that are shelved for, aren't teens different to adults? And isn't being president weird? One of the reasons I perhaps didn't engage with the show is the heavy patriotism, which, despite the channel name would suggest, I find deeply uncomfortable. Oh, well done, you fell out of your mum's hole on this particular landmass, a decision I'm sure you played a key role in. In fact, the one thing that played less of a role than you did was the land itself, so I never understood the pride in one's country. Pride in your own choice of biscuits or wanking technique makes a lot more sense because at least you had an input. As a Brit watching this show, my only thought was, fucking hell, Kiefer Sutherland looks a lot like John Major. It's a shame really. The idea isn't daft. Kiefer Sutherland's voice warmed the cockles of my cock, and the look of the show is very top-notch. In fact, at first I had high hopes. It kicks off with Sutherland lounging around playing the same game I play with scripts such as this one. It has a light tone, as do any flashbacks. And then after the job is forced upon him like a tiny orange hand, the show gets dark and serious, showing that his new responsibilities leave no room for levity, until it does when there is. Oh. Before the response teams have even finished moving the rubble, they're having playful, poorly written banter. The show doesn't even work as escapism, because it says words like elected and White House. Instead, I think we should all binge watch Mr. Benn. The catchy intro will give us something to hum as we're looking for clean drinking water in an irradiated wasteland. Have a nice day.